Welcome into Middletown High School, home of the top-ranked Cavaliers, coming in with a record of 15-2, hosting the 9th-ranked Caravel Academy Buccaneers, a record of 13-5. Great to have you join us here for this matinee boys basketball game on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports. Both of these teams will have one game left in the regular season. The Cavaliers travel down to Lewis to take on Cape Henlopen Tuesday, and the Bucks will face St. E's Monday night. Then it's conference title games for Middletown and on to the state tournament for both of these teams who are ranked in the top 10. Good afternoon. I'm Glenn Fraser alongside Nick Allison-Draney. We have Nick Halliday on camera. And Nick, today we feature two of the best teams in the first state and both peaking at the right time.
And that's where you want to be, right, Glenn? You want to be getting hot right at about now until into the playoffs begin, and that's where both of these teams are. We both had the luxury of checking out Caravel earlier this week. They came in as the 9th-ranked team in our rankings coming out on the 11th. Well, how about a week that they've had so far? On Tuesday, they take down the Panthers from Polytech, who at the time were the 3rd-ranked team in the state, and then we're in the house on Thursday to take down another top-5 team in Sanford. So 2 top-5 wins already for Caravel this week. But how about the gauntlet of a schedule? Because they've got a 3rd one here right in front of us against the top-ranked team of the the state.
Yeah.
So can Caravel get a win over the 3rd, the 5th, and maybe the top team in the state all in a matter of about 5 days? We'll find out.
Talk about Jason Winchell pulling hair out. That would really mess up his rankings going into the final week of regular season play. I had a chance to talk to Coach Tobin before the game, and he said his team and his program traditionally peak at the end of the season. They get off to a rough start in December. They're certainly following that method again this year. And 7 of their last 8 wins, they've been on fire again. And 2 easy wins this week, double-digit wins over both Sanford and Polytech. Looking to run with the Cavaliers today. I think we're going to see a track meet.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I've had this one circled early in the week since we began talking about it. My first chance to check out the Cavaliers here up close and personal. I've seen the games that you've done. I've seen kind of the highlights, but it's a little bit different when you get to see the top 10 or top team in the state up close, and that's what I'm going to have a chance to see here today. You talked about the week for some of these guys from Caravel. John Clemens, a huge first half in that game on Thursday against Sanford. Dom White finishes with 25 for the game, and then the big 3 of Miles White that can do it all as well. How are they going to be able to play here against a tough Middletown? Going to probably be one of their most tough, if not toughest contests of the year, because the Middletown, talk about depth, they are loaded up and down this roster.
Want to throw in a football name too, Mekhi Carmen, the senior, who not only plays great defense on the football field, but he's a good defender for the Caravel Buccaneers as well on the hard court. He has been offered by the University of Delaware in football. I hadn't signed anything yet, but I talked to him before the JV game, and he's pretty excited. And I'm hoping, I know you are too, that he's going to wear the blue and gold next fall.
I'm hoping. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier this week. That would be a joy. You know, we've seen a couple guys. I saw Nate Ray in action for Sally's yesterday. He'll be headed to Newark alongside his buddy James Collins, the phenomenal kicker from Salesianum. So those two going to stick together, stay in Newark. And I'd love to see Coach Carty and the coaching staff, you know, hit up Delaware in-state. Hasn't been a big factor the last couple years. Yeah. Obviously, Nolan Henderson back from 2017 with Smyrna. But a lot of guys getting a lot of looks for the Hens this year here in Delaware high school football. I love to see it. Mekhi Carmen, what a season he had. Did a phenomenal job on Thursday against Sanford. A body that can rebound, box out, play defense, as you mentioned, and he's a big part of this team as well.
Well, you mentioned the Cavaliers, Nick, and they've won 5 straight since that loss to Salesianum, including in that streak a win over a hot William Penn team who's also been peaking coming down the stretch. They beat Howard handily, 77-48, and they took care of St. George's right here on this floor last week, 64-28. You mentioned the depth. This team is very deep, maybe deep as any team in the state, and they're loaded with talent up and down the lineup. Amir Height, everything starts with him running the point.
Yeah, and he's going to be what a point guard matchup. Dom Wyatt versus Amir Height. That is going to be one for the Bucks here today. We talked about Wyatt coming off that 25-point performance. Middletown, you said it earlier, we were off the air, and I think you said it when we went on, is they're going to like to run too. Yep. They have the players that can get out. They can score in transition. You see the top 10 plays all year long, the dunks that they have when they have numbers and they get out and run. And it's funny because Caravel likes to do something similar. We saw Caravel and Sanford, 2 mixed styles, go at it Thursday. Caravel prevailed. They were able to get them out, take them out of the sorts of their game. What's going to happen here? Both of these teams like to do the same thing. Middletown and Caravel, similar type players on both sides. it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out today.
Both good free throw shooting teams. Middletown, and that big win that they had over Howard, shot 83% from the line. That's huge coming down to tournament time. You want to be able to be efficient at the line, especially late in games, and they have some clutch shooters that can go to the line and hit for them, including Amir Height, Jaden Rogers, and Jaden McGee, just to name a few.
It's so underrated, the free throw percentage. We talk about it a lot. I know we both do, but especially come tournament time, as you mentioned, and late in the season. Early on in a lot of the games we did, we saw some teams struggle from the free throw line. I think it's gotten progressively better as the winter season has gone on. But we saw it yesterday, Howard and Sally's. It was a double-digit win for Sally's, but the difference really came down to free throws. Howard could not hit their free throws in the game yesterday, and they lost the game. We're starting to see the teams that can get to the free throw line, knock down the easy ones, are the teams that are going to be winning some games.
All right, before we go to a break, we're going to catch up on some hoops notes around the state. There have been 10 players this year that have reached the 1,000-point plateau. And just this last week, we've had the tandem at Tower Hill, Caitlin Smith on the girls' side, Dean Shepard on the boys' side. My Trader from AI DuPont also got her 1,000 point this week. How about Jaheim Harrell from Dover? He scored 50 points in a win over Milford, and in that game, he hit his 1,000 point as well. And then just yesterday, Clay Long from Greenwood Mennonite, downstate, also got his 1,000 point. So 5 in the last week, but 10 on the season. And a great milestone for some players that really lost that season due to the pandemic.
Yeah, it's still crazy to think about just a few short years ago, that the seasons had to be canceled, et cetera, and there was no tournament and things like that. We saw Busy Bones Highland warm up for VCU in his opening round game for the NCAA tournament and not even play. They canceled the game. He never got a chance to play in the tournament again. And that thing can happen in high school, too, for kids that maybe had a shot to get there. We saw St. Andrews with a big run the one year that they got in there and then, weren't able to carry on after the run due to the pandemic. So that put a kind of a wrench in some things. But these guys stayed working hard, obviously continued to grow as players. A tough scenario all around for all these high school kids here the last couple years, and that's what hard work can do. You stick with it and see where they are now.
About some team achievements, Polytech wins their first Henlopen North title since 2015. They go undefeated in North play. Archmere's girls won their first Diamond State Athletic Conference title in 8 years, and they had their first 16-win regular season in school history. Wow. Conrad's boys, they secured the DSAC title, their first conference championship, it's believed, since back in the 1960s. And Seaford leads the state in scoring average, over 84 points per game. And hey, the future's bright for Cape Henlopen's girls program. Freshman Amalia Fruckman set a school rebound record this year with 66, and sophomore teammate Faith Ray set the three-point mark with 64 made, 37% for her beyond the arc. Some great numbers for teams, great accomplishments in this 2022-23 season.
Yeah, a lot of those things, going up and down that list stand out to me. And you mentioned Conrad and Polytech. I'll start there. Polytech last year had a chance to do their games at the St. E's Viking Invitational during the Christmas holiday break in late December. And watching the two games that they played, they beat an in-state team pretty well, and then they had a really tough game against an out-of-state team, and that put them on the map for me. I remember coming back from the tournament and trying to tell Nick here, who's to my right, I said, Polytech's got some players. Yeah. I said, look out for them, maybe come the tournament time, they can make some noise. Didn't happen last year, but those guys are all back this year, and they've had a phenomenal season, Kyle Gammer and company, and they are going to make some strides. So the team that I was looking for last year, they're showing up this year, and they're a team to watch. And Conrad, what a jump that they've made. Kelsey Epps, they've got some players on that squad, some young guys that are so athletic and can score the basketball. One of the best teams the Red Wolves have had in a while.
It's senior day here at Middletown High. It looks to be a sold-out crowd for this one. We're glad you're joining us here in Delaware Live. We're going to take a break here, step aside. They're going to announce the starting lineups and play the national anthem. When we come back, we'll let you know who the starters are and get the opening tip. Glenn Frazier, Nick Alessandrini right here on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports.
Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's...
We are back courtside, just about ready for tip. Starters for the Cavaliers: Amir Height, Marcus Edmond, Jaden Rogers, Amir Cunningham, and Jaden McGee. For the visiting Buccaneers: John Clements, Dom Wyatt, Makai Carmen, Zane Bone, and Miles White. Ready for the opening tip, the officials: Bryant Williams, Mike Smead, and Dan Roberts. Fasten your seat belts, put your trays in their upright position, and get ready for a track meet. Early miss for the Cavaliers, and not running it too fast down the floor. Caravel Buccaneers, mid-range jumper, and that will not go down. After the miss, Cavaliers down the floor. Pass underneath to Cunningham. Backs down his defender and then threw the ball away. A little bit of sloppy play here to start out in his opening 30 seconds. No score here. Wyatt walks it across midcourt. He's picked up by, and there's a good hands there by Rogers. He gets the steal, a little body contact, and we have our first foul of the game. That's called on Clements. First foul on John Clements on the floor, non-shooting. Looking forward to this point guard matchup, Amir Height and Dom Wyatt. Deep three-point shot, top of the circle, nothing but net for Rogers.
And there it is, Glenn. You don't want to use the term revenge game here in high school. When you leave a school, everybody's transferring nowadays. You're finding new homes. But Rogers used to be a Buccaneer. Now he's taking on Caravel here at home. Knocks down the triple to get the Cavs started.
That was at least 5 feet beyond the arc. And now he picks the pocket again, but alertly Clements gets back to gather the loose ball. Just underway in this one, 3-0 Middletown. Clements into Carmen, back out top to Wyatt. How about this matchup of point guards here? You mentioned it in pregame.
Yeah, this is the one I'm excited for here. Dom Wyatt, he can do all things. Amir Height running the show for Middletown, the top team in this state. Excited to see how this one develops. Already have a Jaden Rogers 3, but let's see what Caravel can do here offensively.
Little switching now as Caravel's run some screens around the top of the perimeter. Mid-range jumper no good. Rogers with a rebound. He's doing it all early. 3-on-2 break and lost the handle. Now Caravel, Clements all alone. Is he going to slam it? No, I put the one hand up, and it's 3-2.
And yeah, just the ball tipped out. Clemens saw it, leaked ahead of the pack. Good job to get some room in front of him and able to finish with no one around him.
A frenetic pace the first minute of this game. Good pass inside. Goes up the shot. We've got a foul, I think, on the floor.
I think they called a hook. I guess Edmond must have hooked him as he tried to get underneath on the reverse layup. Yeah, I must have missed it there, but that was the call. Caravel going to take over.
A lot of contact going on inside between Clements and Rogers.
Well, again, used to be teammates over in Bear. And Rogers has grown a lot now in this Middletown program, also adding a few inches to him. I remember covering him as a freshman.
Both teams committed one team foul as we're 2.5 minutes into this one. Clements with a strong move, had his shot altered, but then on it, Middletown tried to save it, and a good steal and a bucket. Getting that just bone.
There you go, Glenn. How about that ball falling Caravel's way here early? 2 tipped ones that lead to 2 buckets for the Buccaneers.
Strong move into paint, shot up. They're going to get a charge. That's going to go against Edmond.
Yeah, I agree with that one there. Good position underneath. I think it was Wyatt who ended up taking the charge. Just a little bit out of control. Too strong on the dribble drive there. And turnover for Middletown.
So Middletown hits the early 3. And since then, a mini run of 4-0 by the Buccaneers, they have the ball up a point. Good crossover dribble. All the way down the paint. Up and under shot, draws contact and a foul. We'll see free throws, first time of the game.
And that's what Miles White can do. He does a great job of getting to the free throw line, either against Sanford or the game we did previously for between them and Laurel. He struggled from the floor, but was able to get to the line. That was the way he was scoring his points, you know, getting to the line 6 times and able to knock down his free throws.
First one rattles out.
I apologize.
Broadcaster's curse.
There it is. We all know it.
5:05 to go in the opening quarter. 1-point game. Second free throw on the way from White. That one's clean. And a 2-point lead for the Bucks. Got some subs in the game. Nick?
And Glenn, I know we talked about it earlier. This is my first time seeing Middletown here courtside. They've got some size and length. They have a big athletic starting 5, you know, wingspan, height, you name it.
Yeah, a couple of 6'6" players on the roster. McGee's one of them. Ahmad the other. McGee on the floor right now. Tom Wyatt staying right with Knight. Passes underneath. The pass was tipped and deflected out of bounds.
Yeah, saw that tip. That time you see Height trying to work the pick and roll that time with Jacob Kopel, the senior center.
Nice pass inside to McGee, and he changed his motion in midair to get the bucket.
Switching the hands there, McGee, a big fella, but also obviously has the skill set of a guard. He can do it all.
As we just mentioned moments ago, he's one of the tallest players for the Cavaliers. And Coach Ali. We're nearing the midway point of the first period. We're all tied up at 5 apiece.
And again, I would be remiss not to mention Dom White wearing the Kobe 6 Mambasitas, and what a block there by Rogers.
Caravel saved the ball, but then it's out of bounds under the basket to the Buccaneers.
Yeah, we both had a chance to talk to Dom on Thursday, and you referenced the upcoming matchup for him.
Hey, a 3-word answer. Yes, I'm ready. Looks like we got a tie-up and a possession arrow change right in the paint. Ball stays with the Cavaliers. Jaden Rogers has a 3. McGee has a bucket to lead Middletown. Wyatt down into the corner. Good defense from Middletown, reacting quickly. You see Caravel running a lot of screens up around the perimeter, and that shot is blocked out of bounds by Rogers.
And we know we've done our fair share of Caravel games. They're at their best when they are out and running and going up tempo. Here, the Middletown defense has them stagnant here in the half-court offense. Just a lot of ISO ball.
Yeah.
Need to move the ball around a little bit more here.
Good inbounds pass. High arcing shot, misses everything. And Middletown with a 3-0 break and an easy bucket with a left hand for Height.
And that's all Tyrene Hinson right there. That elevation, then a steal from Height. And then stolen back by Wyatt. But the elevation, trying to get Wyatt to get it over the hands of Hinson, caused that miss.
Now Wyatt all the way with the left hand and one. He'll go to the line, and we're tied at 7. See,
and
that
that's
time,
a big one.
Yeah, Height down the other end, hit the deck, and he couldn't get back on defense.
And you know, if you can't get back on defense when Dom Wyatt has the ball, you're going to be in trouble. The speed that he's got with the ball in his hands. And that time you see it, so good at finishing around the rim, able to do so there. Now a chance at the old-fashioned three-point play.
Yeah, an opportunity to give the Bucks the lead back. That's the second personal foul committed by Edmond. Team's 4th. And the free throw hits the back of the rim. Cavaliers did not box out on the strong side on the line, and Caravel will extend this possession.
And that's Owen Robinson. Coach Tobin, that's what he talks about. That's what Robinson can bring to the table.
Deep 3 on the way. Hits the back of the rim, and skying for the rebound, the white shirts. 3 of them were there.
And the clock wasn't running there for about 12 seconds, Glenn. They had it stopped.
And we had some clock issues in the JV game. Rogers with a strong move in, and they're going to count it, and he'll go to the line.
A nice, strong move there with the left hand from Jaden Rogers. Obviously, you know, you want to force him to his left side, but he's got ambidextrous. He can go either way. That time takes the contact on the left, able to finish. And, you know, you like to talk a little bit about continuation. That was a close one there, but Rogers able to finish. And now he'll have a chance to answer Dom Wyatt's.
And just like the game Thursday night, Clements has got to watch out. He's committed his second personal foul already.
And that's a good point, Glenn, as the free throw for both teams on their old fashions are no good. We'll stop it there, the clock for a second. And now they're going to let the clock run now.
Okay.
So we'll figure it out here.
No look pass, left wing 3 ball on the way, and that's good for Rogers again. He's on fire here early.
Yeah, Glenn, that's one thing that we talked about before the game, me and you, and then again in the pregame. I said it's going to be a Jaden Rogers revenge game for him, and he is off to a hot start.
Come down to the 3-minute mark here in his first quarter.
Supposedly.
Good move. He says because of the clock issues. Well, on the clock right now, we're exactly 3 minutes to go in the quarter.
All right. We'll stick with that. But a nice, strong move inside. And Owen Robinson already off to a good start for the Buccaneers here. You know, not a guy that's going to light you up on the score sheet, but he does all the little things, offensive rebounds, putbacks, and now he earns himself a trip.
First one on the way, and that's good. Foul went against number 32, Micah Porter, who was in the game for Middletown. And already the Cavaliers have committed 5 team fouls here. Keep on that, an eye on that too. See if Caravel can take advantage of that. 2 for 2 for Robinson. And it's a 1-possession lead for Middletown. Rogers will bring the ball up the floor.
He's got the hot hand. I guess
yeah.
We'll let it go.
Deep in the right corner. Free ball on the way. No good. And Caravel gets the long rebound. So Amir Height gets a breather on the bench. And Rogers now running the point.
And there's the freshman Webster now into the game for Caravel. Got the start on Thursday, I believe, coming off the bench in this one.
Good young player, a freshman. I talked to his parents before the game over in the stands, and they were very appreciative of the comments we made. Good left-handed move down the baseline. And the bucket by number 13, Miles White.
Miles White, again, he's great at putting it on the floor, getting to the basket, either getting fouled or finishing. A member of that big 3 for Caravel. They're going to need him to score today.
Oh, Caravel, another 4-0 run to cut the lead down to 1. Coach Aziz Ali from Middletown calling out the play. 3-point shot on the way, and that one's good by McGee. The Jadens are on fire.
That's a good point, Glenn. Such a smooth stroke from McGee. He took his time, composure. The defense was closing out. It didn't matter, and he just kept to his schedule, let it fly, and knocked it through.
Height will get back into the game as the Caravel just committed a turnover on the pass. Rogers will get a breather. Also coming off the floor for Middletown is Royster. 1:43 to go in the opening quarter. The Cavaliers with the ball and a 4-point advantage. And there's Height and Dom Wyatt. Right in front of our vantage point. Strong move in the paint, delay, shot up, contact, it won't go, but going to the free throw line will be Henson.
Able to get inside, a little hop step. Took some contact before the possible travel there. He gets the foul call, now he'll head to the line here.
Foul committed by Makai Carmen, his first, team's fourth. First free throw on the way, and that is short. Want to mention again our officials for the ball game today: Bryant Williams, Mike Smead, and Dan Roberts. Dan standing right in front of us.
And a special shout out to Middletown for, it doesn't get much better than being courtside right in the position we are. One of the best places to be in the state. Special thanks to Colleen and company here at Middletown.
Left corner three, and that ball goes down for Wyatt.
And that's another thing we talked about on Thursday. We were going over our notes. One of the things we had for Dom Wyatt was corner three specialist. Well, he loves that corner side pocket three ball.
Got a little contact down. Not much, but enough apparently to draw the whistle on the foul. Oh, and Robinson committing his first.
Now there's 1:09 on the clock. We're going to let ours run down. There's a few seconds off just for clarification. So 1:09, I'll stop it there, everyone.
Okay. I like your analogy. I heard you on one of the top 10 plays. There's another three-point shot, Jaden Rogers, and he hushes the Caravel bench, and he's going to get teed up for that.
Well, we talked about the game, and we don't know the story behind it. Obviously, Rogers leaving Caravel to come to Middletown. He has the hot start, but that was going to be a storyline coming in. And Rogers hit the three, and it was a blatant, and again, in the NBA and everything, college is different. You're allowed to do that kind of stuff. But that was a blatant whisper, keep quiet to the whole bench, and almost had Coach Tobin there as well.
Yeah. So at the free throw line, Dom Wyatt, he'll shoot the Tex. 4-point lead for Middletown. 64 seconds to go opening quarter, and Wyatt makes the first. He had 25 Thursday night and was our player of the game. He already has 6 in the first quarter.
And we'll see if that gets the Caravel team going when something like that, and the opposing team does something like that. That tends to get you juices flowing a little bit. We'll see if Caravel can respond. But I'll tell you what, Jaden Rogers, he's looking pretty good so far. He's off to a heck of a start, and he's feeling it himself.
And I think wisely, Coach Ali subbed him out. And they're going to talk to him a little bit down there on the bench. It's one thing you got a red-hot hand, and it's another thing to turn around and kind of taunt the other team a little bit. It's not necessary.
Yeah, like you said, high school kid, they get into the flow of the game. You're going against your old team, a big top 10 matchup for a sold-out crowd. It happens sometimes, and he'll get a talking to. He'll be back in shortly.
Caravel, another opportunity to tie or take the lead. We're under a minute to go in the quarter. Wyatt. Baseline move, high in the air. Got the shot to go, but are they going to call a charge? And it looks like no, he's going to the free throw line. I thought the official on the side here.
Yeah,
okay, he did change it up.
Yeah,
I saw him going to the free throw line.
He walked there. He tried to get it to go there. And it was a nice drive by Wyatt. Nothing he did, just better positioning on the block from Amir Height. He was able to get there, got there on time, solidified his feet down, solid on the block, and took that charge. That's just a great defensive play.
Wyatt committed to his first personal foul, team foul number 5. So both teams are likely to be in the bonus in the second quarter. Height trying to break down Wyatt, who sticks right on it. And now we got a traveling violation committed by McGee. Took that little step before the move.
And sometimes you get away with it, and other times you don't, and that was one of the times that you will not. The referees have done a great job so far here in the first quarter with this one.
Wyatt checks over to see what Coach Tobin is calling out. You probably could hear him on for our crowd mic. I think he wants his team to hold for the final shot of the quarter, Nick. Oh, a 5-second call on the far side of the floor. So That time Amir Height with a great D.
Yeah, and like you said, now you're getting an idea of how they're going to call this game, right? This is going to be a game where you're not going to be able to get away with those little things that you get away with in a regular matchup. This is a high competitive game. 2 top 10 teams going to call it by the book.
All right, Middletown will probably hold for one here. Height with a hesitation move. Good pass down underneath, but anticipated it's stolen. And then the Cavaliers steal it right back. Down to 3, 2, 1. Cunningham lets it fly. And it's off the side of the rim. A very competitive first quarter here, Nick. 18-16 in favor of Middletown. Rogers with the hot hand as he has hit 3 threes in this first period.
And we talked about him playing against his old team. Off to a great start. Both teams playing well there in that first quarter. You talked about a track meet, 18-16. I have a feeling the final 3 quarters are going to be just as good.
All right, we're going to step aside quickly. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with second quarter action here on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports.
High Five Hospitality, founded in 2004 when 3 guys teamed up to introduce the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise to Delaware. To date, they operate 8 Buffalo Wild Wings in Delaware and Maryland. Also the Stone Balloon and Limestone Barbecue. And let's not forget Expectation and 5 Jersey Mikes throughout Delaware. High Five Hospitality's mission is to operate 5 brands that serve high-quality products with exceptional hospitality. High Five Hospitality, founded in 2004 when 3 guys teamed up to introduce the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise to Delaware. To date, they operate 8 Buffalo Wild Wings in Delaware and Maryland. Also the Stone Balloon and Limestone Barbecue. And let's not forget Expectation and 5 Jersey Mikes throughout Delaware. High Five.
Frazier and Nick Halliday here, and Nick Alessandrini. It's the Knicks.
That's right, Nick squared today.
Not the New York Knicks, but it's the Knicks. I got them both. 8 minutes to go here till half. Very competitive first quarter. Largest lead of the game was a 5-point lead for Middletown at 12-7. But Caravel has come back every time they've gotten down and get right back in the ball game. McGee thought he's thinking about that deep 3. He's not going to take it. Coach Ali barking out signals. Sets up the half court. So Rogers right now, who had the hot hand in the quarter, Nick, is still on the bench.
And a little bit of a zone look here from Caravel defensively.
Strong baseline move, a high floating left-handed shot. Hits the side of the rim. McGee hit the deck, but he committed the charge.
I believe that is first or second foul on McGee. First. And good news if you're a Middletown fan. Again, a lot of fouls racking up here for both teams as we begin the second.
Yeah, Caravel will be in the bonus now as we still have plenty of time to go here in the second quarter. Clements trying to break down the defender, Henson. Now Wyatt guarded by Height. Deep 3 again by White. Back to the rim, and good positioning that time underneath by Caravel. And they're going to force a tie-up. Middletown didn't do a very good job of blocking out that time.
And that's kind of been what we saw in the first quarter. Caravel's done a good job on the offensive glass and kind of the extra effort. They're just a step quicker to some of these loose balls than Middletown has been.
And Clements was the one in there. Good inbounds play and a bucket for Wyatt. And now a whistle after the play.
They teed him up.
That'll be his second personal foul.
So we both missed that one, I think, Glenn, as we look down the other side of the court. Wyatt scored, and then they're going to nip this in the bud rather quickly. We saw Rogers earlier, and then Wyatt trying to respond a little bit. I'm not sure. Maybe he motioned that way.
Yeah.
But either way, more free throws.
Regardless, a very good inbounds play to tie the game, but now down the other end, Height shooting the text, and he makes the first. 3 points in the game for Amir. One of the leading scorers for Middletown. Second one is off the front of the rim, no good. That gives Middletown the ball and a 1-point lead. And I'm looking out on the floor. So right now Middletown has Height, Clyde Frazier, who is the backup point guard, McGee out on the floor with Henson, and also Amir Cunningham. So Rogers, ever since he committed the taunting tech, he has been on the bench. And we've got a blocking foul down on the baseline. committed by Bone.
A hip check that time from Bone down there. That's going to get called majority of the time. And it looks like we have a 1-and-1.
Yeah, it should be in the bonus. Caravel was sitting on 6, and now both teams have committed 7 personal fouls here in this opening half. That's only the first from on Bone. And the place hushes. Making the front end is Clyde the Glide.
I was going to say Glide. I didn't know Middletown had Clyde the Glide on the roster.
I bet that.
That'll change some things.
Yeah. We did some Middletown games last year, and I noticed it, and I said, oh, my God, the parents must have been long-time New York Knicks fans. One of the smoothest, silky smooth players in the NBA history, Clyde Frazier. Nice dresser, too.
That's right. I think he still got the shoes. The Pumas, maybe he still wears. They still sell those.
Yeah, we do a fashion critique as well on this broadcast. Now we got another whistle. And, a little chippiness as Height takes the ball away from White. And the officials are going to tech up the Caravel player.
Yeah, this one's interesting.
And Coach Tobin right in front of our vantage point here in our table, and he's having a discussion with one of the officials, Danny Roberts.
Yeah, this one, it's getting, and obviously we talked about it. They want to keep this one tight. They want to call it tight. It's starting to let hand, so they're going to call these technicals. But at that time, I'm not sure where the technical was. So we're going to wait and see. Maybe they'll put it on the board. But that's going to lead to more free throws for Height.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe we can get the officials to come over. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's always nice that they would come over to us, not just a scorer's table.
Yeah.
Height makes them both. So give him 5 points in the game. Actually, I think 7 points in the game now. Frazier will bring it across midcourt.
So they called the tech on Miles White.
Yeah, I see that up on the board now. That's only his first. Good hands down underneath by Bone. He forced a turnover. Tom Wyatt over to Clements. Clements trying to break down Henson at the free throw line. Jump shot back to the rim. Won't go, but he's fouled.
So Clemens, we saw an 18-point first half out of him against Sanford. Against Laurel, he went scoreless in the first half, so he can turn it on. Had a big second half against Laurel, so what's it going to be for him today? They're going to need to put a full game together. Again, leading scorer and one of the team leaders here for Caravel.
Clements drains the first free throw shot. Give him 3 points now in the game. After, as we both mentioned it, an explosive first half Thursday night against Sanford, he makes them both. 18 points for him in that first half. Actually, that's what he ended up with for the game.
That's right. It was Dom Wyatt's second half in that one.
All right, 6 minutes to go in the half. Cavaliers up by 3. Amir Cunningham will take the left wing 3 ball, and he got it to go.
Another big 3 that time for Middletown, and that's the thing. When you've got that kind of depth, everybody in your starting lineup can knock it down from deep. It'll open some things up.
Cunningham's first points of the game. Miles White, does he have the answer? No, it's off the side of the rim. And Henson's rebound is stripped and tapped right to Amir Height. Nose look pass underneath. Tried to find Cunningham. Too many defenders there for that pass.
And again, still haven't seen Jaden Rogers still just yet here in the second quarter. But Middletown, with the lineup they've got in right now, doing just fine.
Deep in the left corner, McGee thought he was going to take that shot. Now they get it back out on top. Cunningham will try another one, and he makes another one. 2 in a row for Amir.
Dribble drive. The whole defense for Caravel collapsed when the ball got underneath. It left a couple perimeter players for Middletown just wide open, and Cunningham was one of them, and he's starting to catch fire.
Yeah, 2 in a row for him, and Middletown's deadly now from beyond the arc here in this first half. Good move in the paint, high off the rim, no good, off the backboard, and that one rims out, wouldn't go down for Clements. We're down to 5 minutes to go in the half. McGee has the ball stripped away. Are they going to call a foul there? I think they're going to call a foul.
There they are. They are going to call a foul, so some more free throws.
I see Nick with a smile on his face. Is this something that we can say on the air? Or?
No, I don't think so. Just going back to some things we heard before the game, and McGee knocked down the free throw. You know, just being here now, just seeing Middletown as we're seeing some subs here for them, a platoon change, some 3 guys, including Jaden Rogers back in. They got talented. It just seems like when you watch them here, at every level, they've just got talent there. And as McGee knocks down both free throws, just hard to find a weak point in this Cavalier team.
And unfortunately for Caravel, Nick, the foul is the 3rd on Dom Wyatt.
And that's when things start to become an issue.
Yeah. Right wing 3 ball on the way. That's good for Clemens.
If Clemens would have had that layup, that rim double out last time, that 3 there, Caravel's going to need him to score. Cavaliers up by 8 and in total control here. Caravel's got to find ways to put some points on the board and get stops here on the other end.
7 points now for Clemens. Good defense, high above the perimeter. And Clemens all over that, almost got the steal. McGee down in the corner. Frazier looking for somebody. Rogers over on the right wing. Cunningham is a 3 in a row, and it is.
Glenn, I don't think he's hit rim on any of those 3 threes. And once again, that time it was Jaden Rogers. He drove, the defense collapsed, and once again, Cunningham left wide open.
Wow. Down the other end, a rimmed out shot. And Cunningham gets the rebound. He's doing it all right now for Middletown. Largest lead in the game, 11 points for the Cavs. Owen Robinson got out on Cunningham that time. Wasn't going to give him the open look.
Oh, just lost it right out of his hands. He tried to pull up, and it fell out.
There's Clemens with a right hand. Good move by him to draw contact and get to the line.
And now we're seeing Clemens try to take this game over, right? He's taken the last 4 shots for Caravel. 1 has went in, 2 rimmed out, and that 4th one he's found. Going to head to the line. You hear Coach Tobin tell him, you got to finish that. And most of the time he will, but hacked on that one. Now some free throws coming up for him.
First one's good. And it looks like, both teams were going to be in the double bonus for the final 3:39 of the half.
And just a tougher for the Bucks to score than for the Cavaliers so far in this first half. Middletown has just been able to find points easier. Caravel's had to work a little harder for them.
Cunningham drains them both. Excuse me, Clemens. Clemens gets them both. Give him 9 points now in the game. All the way down and drawing a foul. Going to the line will be Cunningham, who's made the last 9 points for Middletown.
And now a chance to make it 10 or 11, but a drive there. Carmen came over, had the I think he got the block. The foul, I believe, will be on Bone. He might have got him with the body. We'll wait and see. I know they gave it to Carmen.
That's his second. So Clements on the floor with 2 personal fouls. Dom Wyatt getting a seat on the bench right now for Coach Tobin as he drew his 3rd moments ago.
And that's a killer if you're a Caravel fan. He runs the show in terms of, being the point guard and kind of the engine that makes the car go for them.
Makes them both. Cunningham with 11 points all in this quarter. 3-point shot left wing, and that one's good.
Now we're seeing Caravel race up the floor, and before Middletown can set into that half-court defense, they're letting some shots fly as soon as they've even got a little bit of room.
That's Trevor Webster, the freshman who canned that 3. And now we've got a whistle and a turnover by Middletown. Traveling violation. 3:15 to go in the half. I'm Glenn Frazier. He is Nick Alessandrini, and we've got an 8-point ball game. Clements. Is he going to take another outside?
I was going to ask you because I was just about to ask you.
He takes it. Oh, my goodness. Hey, we got some highlight material in this game.
That's right. Top 10 plays coming at you for next week. But, he's trying to take the game over. He's taken out the last 5 shots, and he's starting to get no rhythm. They need him to do that if they want to put up a fight against Middletown.
It's raining 3s here in Middletown, Delaware. It rained yesterday, but sunny and cold today, but it's raining 3s in the gym. And that time missing is McGee. How about Rogers? A little strong. And the rebound was tipped right to Clements.
And he's got a look on his face, Glenn, like he's going to take another one. Let's see what he does. What a find underneath. Can Bone finish?
Pass. Oh, great hesitation by Bone to get his man in the air on the ball fake. And it was an 11-point Middletown lead. It's down to 3.
What a run. And it all starts as we'll stay right here. it all starts with Clemens. He had a look on his face a few possessions ago. It was like, look, we're down double digits. We can't find a way to score on offense. I'm going to have to give us a little bit of a jolt. And that's exactly what he did. With his size and athleticism, he was able to get to the bucket, foul, make a few foul shots. He can hit the three. He's done that. And he single-handedly, with Dom Wyatt on the bench, battling those 3 fouls, has kept Caravel in this game against the top team in the state in Middletown.
10-2 run right now for the Buccaneers. And like they did in the first quarter, every time Middletown got a little bit of separation, the Buccaneers put a little run together to get back in the game. But nothing like this run right here.
But again, as you mentioned, Glenn, and you know this better than anybody, you've seen Middletown. They can go on a 10-0 run like that. And we've seen it with Cunningham a few possessions ago. They got 4 guys that can give you that type of productivity. And that's why they're as good as they are.
Height back in the game. Running the point as we count down to the 2-minute mark and a half. Cunningham guarded by Clements. Height picked up by White. And we've got a whistle and a 5-second call and a turnover on the Cavs.
And the officials, they're going both ways. I mean, now that was this 5-second call, going Caravel's way. We've seen them make these calls both ways, and there may be some calls that you might not see in some other games. But like we said, they're calling this one textbook.
Chance for the Buccaneers to tie here. Clements, he's been hot. Dribbles into the paint, puts a strong shot up that missed everything. Middletown pushing the pace. Height, night pass to McGee. And that gives the Cavs a 5-point lead.
And that's the danger of forcing up a shot quickly on the other side of the floor, because Middletown, they'll take that long miss and score.
And now a traveling violation committed by Caravel.
An extra step for Webster out on that left wing. Tried to tee up a 3, it looked like. Just thought about it for a second. Got a quick extra step in there and a good eye by the official.
Webster, one of the good young players. There are 3 freshmen on the roster here for Coach Tobin. The future looks bright for that young man. McGee all the way into the paint. We've got a whistle on the floor, I think.
Yeah, and I think that is the way it'll go.
Crowd getting loud here in Middletown High.
I think that was an early whistle. I think it should be on the floor.
Yeah, it's 1-on-1.
Yeah, so it'll be a 1-on-1, but that's the right call.
So at the free throw line, Jaden McGee. He's 2 for 2 from the line.
That'll be the 10th foul on Caravel.
Yeah, double bonus. 9 points so far in the game for McGee. 11 for Cunningham. Rogers made 3 threes in the first quarter, and he has 11 points. I said balanced depth.
And it could be anybody at any time, right? And that's what makes them so dangerous at any game, at any point in any game.
McGee makes 1 of 2. Gives the Cavaliers a 6-point lead back.
Now some pressure here.
Left wing 3-point shot early in the possession by Clements. Running down the long rebound was Carmen. Now here's Trevor. Left-hander high off the glass, won't go. Cunningham comes away with it. 3-point shot, that's nothing but net. That one goes down for number 3, Marcus Edmond.
And he turned and had a word for the Caravel bench after that one as well. The energy is high. And I believe a double drill. No, a foul. They'll get Amir Height with the reach.
All right, on Height, that should be his first. It is. Now both teams in the double bonus as we're under a minute to go in the half.
So just like that, a 2-point lead. We saw Caravel cut it to 2, Glenn, and then Middletown, right what we said, came out of the locker room. We said they can get it up there quickly, and they did, putting together a little run. And now, once again, looking at a 9-point lead.
How about 8 threes made in this first half by Middletown?
Oh, my goodness.
Tell me about it. Only 2 for
got
Caravel.
3 of them. Rogers has 2.
Rogers has 3. Cunningham has 3. And McGee has 1. And Edmond just made 1 moments ago. So it's spread around 4 different players. White at the line. Makes the second. Actually got both there. 42-35. Down the floor quickly. Tough angle. Shot up and in off the glass by the Cavs. Henson.
He leaked ahead of the pack on the inbound. Nobody was on him. He got all the way to the other side of the floor. They got it to him at a nice finish, contested finish underneath.
But the ball's White all the way into the paint. Left-handed shot up, no good. Rebound and putback is good by the freshman, Webster.
So we'll see now if the Cavaliers hold for the final shot. Most likely, in my opinion, they'll just take one if they can get it.
Yeah.
But only 20 seconds wouldn't shock me either.
With the ball and a 7-point lead for Middletown. They've led by as many as 11 in this half. Cunningham trying to break down Clemens. Kicks it out. 3-point shot for Edmonds is short. Rebound, White had it. It was knocked out of his hands. So Caravel's going to have just under 7 seconds to try to get a shot off.
And we'll see now some pressure from Middletown in the backcourt. I don't know if Clemens realizes it.
Down to 3-2. They'll take it just inside of midcourt. It's short. And we've come to the end of one half of play here. It was tight at the end of the first quarter, but Middletown will take a 7-point lead into the locker room, Nick.
Well, that's what we thought, right, Glenn? It has been back and forth. Middletown been able to hold kind of a lead throughout that first half, but it's been tight. We had our fair share of fouls, teams knocking down free throws, but the threes were the big one. As you mentioned, Middletown looking at a 7-point lead, a large majority to those 3 balls. They've got some players in that roster up and down that can knock them down. They're doing so here today.
Cavaliers made 8 threes in that first half, and the Buccaneers made 3. And maybe the big thing is saddled with 3 personal fouls. A lot of time on the bench for Dom Wyatt, and he's got to be real careful coming out starting the second half.
That's right, barely any playing time there in that second quarter, and Caravel was still able to get back in it. We saw Clemens really try to take it upon himself to be that scorer with Wyatt on the bench. It worked out for the Buccaneers. He was able to keep it to about a 7-point lead. Kind of looked as if the Bucs could be in the danger zone there late in that second quarter, but Caravel able to hang tight. It's going to be a fun second half.
We're looking forward to it, and we will be back after these words from our fine sponsors here on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports. Halftime score, Middletown 44, Caravel 37.
The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader. Because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader. Because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader. Because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader. Because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader. Because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader. because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Today we're at Matt's Fish Camp in Fenwick Island, Delaware. Come check us out. Matt's Fish Camp features seafood classics, coastal comfort food, and chef-driven specials that pair perfectly with our large selection of craft ales, curated wine list, and camp cocktails. Matt's offers indoor and outdoor dining and is the perfect place to have dinner with your family, happy hour with friends, or enjoy lunch at the Raw Bar. Matt's Fish Camp in Fenwick Island, Delaware, open 7 days a week year-round. See you soon.
High Five Hospitality, founded in 2004 when three guys teamed up to introduce the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise to Delaware. To date, they operate 8 Buffalo Wild Wings in Delaware and Maryland. Also the Stone Balloon and Limestone Barbecue. And let's not forget Expectation and 5 Jersey Mikes throughout Delaware. High Five Hospitality's mission is to operate 5 brands that serve high-quality products with exceptional hospitality.
Barkley Heating and Air. Barkley's can work on all brands specializing in air conditioners, gas, oil, and heat pumps. Family owned and operated with over 17 years of experience. Licensed in...
And welcome back inside Delaware Live Sports. Just a reminder, our game of the week, it's your First State Orthopaedics official game of the week. First State Orthopaedics has 29 physicians at 16 locations. We provide both surgical and non-surgical treatment for a variety of orthopedic conditions and are specially trained in the current state-of-the-art techniques. They serve as the team physicians for over 20 high schools, Wilmington University, and many local recreational and competitive leagues. Their doctors are readily available to all the local emergency departments, medical aid, and urgent care centers for consultation and treatment. Give them a call today, 302-322-3400, or visit firststateortho.com, and be sure to mention that you saw their ad with us right here on Delaware Live Sports.
Nick Alessandrini, I'm impressed. Way to keep your eye on the prize there. Nick Halliday trying to distract you, talking to you in the middle of the read.
There we go.
And he stayed right with it.
Professionalism, Glenn. That's what we do here at Delaware Live.
Just like a quarterback. The rush was coming. There was pressure in his face, and he still got off the pass just as calmly and coolly as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a look at some scoring in the first half for Caravel, leading the way like he did Thursday night. John Clements, 12 points, all in the second quarter. Dom Wyatt with 9 before he went out early in the second quarter, picking up his third personal foul. Leading the way for the Cavaliers, 11 points each by Amir Cunningham and Jaden Rogers. And that was a tale of two quarters, as Rogers hit 3 threes in the first quarter to get all of his 11 plus a bucket. And then Cunningham, he got all his 11 in the second quarter on 3 consecutive threes and a couple of free throws. Jaden McGee also chipping in double digits, scoring with 10 points for Middletown. So, again, balanced scoring by Middletown, and it can be those 3 or any one of about 3 more.
And that's the thing, and that's what makes them so dangerous. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. It's just the baskets that they've made there in the first half were just a lot easier to come by than it was for Caravel, who had to work, it seemed like, just a little bit harder. Now, a lot of that had to do with Dom Wyatt now being on the bench. He wasn't able to run the show. Clemens, though, did a great job doing that for Caravel when they needed him to. But Middletown's so consistent, for a majority of the whole season. Just such a tough team to make up ground on and take down, especially here at home. But what a first half it was, and we should be in for a great second one.
One of the few teams, I think, Nick, that can play either style of basketball.
Exactly.
They can slow it down in the half court, or they can get up and down the floor with you as well.
And that's a better way of putting what I was trying to say. You're absolutely right, and that's why they're so good.
Amir Height kicked the ball out, but losing his footing over on the far side of the floor was Edmond. And a turnover to Caravel.
And again, we talked about how good Middletown is. Now Caravel, you get an early stop to begin the third quarter. You want to put a little of the pressure on. You're down by 7. String together some buckets here. You want to come out and, again, put the pressure on the home Cavaliers.
Dom White back in the game to start the second half for Coach Tobin. They're starting 5 out there on the floor. Same with the Cavaliers. White trying to break down the defender Cunningham. Good pass on the baseline, and the floater, one hand up and in by Clements.
Great vision by Miles White, who, again, kept that pivot foot, almost traveled there, but was able to not do it and get the pass to the baseline. Great vision.
Cuts that Middletown lead down to 5. Early moments of the third quarter. Now Cunningham trying to break down Carmen. Back out on top to Rogers. And he'll take a 3 from there. A good hesitated move and a crossover, and then he puts the left-hander off the glass.
Made it look easy. Retreats back to the perimeter, brings out Makai Carmen. We talked about the defense that he provides for Caravel. Brought him out on an island there on the perimeter. And how about that first step from Rogers off of the dribble right by Carmen, right to the cup for an and one.
Trying to convert the traditional three-point play. He fails, and the rebound goes to Makai Carmen. So the first bucket of the second half made by Clements. Rogers comes right back, and it's still a 7-point game. Height guarding, and there's another 5-second call. I think that's about the third one we've seen.
That's the third 5-second call. That matches my season total for all the games that we broadcast.
And that's the third against Caravel. Middletown's also had a 5-second violation as well.
Yeah, that's right. And again, that's the matchup. Wyatt
just had a bench warning. Yeah. Whistle on a bench warning. Coach Tobin, I heard him say, give me a 5-second call. All right, back out on the floor. Good move by Cunningham. Draws a double team in the lane, and he gets hacked.
And I see that might have been Clemens, So they'll get Bone for that foul. Just Middletown doing a good job here of keeping their composure, and that's the thing that stands out to me the most is they don't force really anything.
Yeah. That's the second foul on Bone at the line. Cunningham, and he makes the first. Cunningham 3 for 3 from the charity stripe. Did not score a point in the first quarter in this game. So versatile, talented player from Middletown. Second one, nothing but net. Has good form at the line, Nick.
I don't think I've seen him hit the rim all game, Glenn. Again, just nothing but net for Cunningham. I have a chance to watch him grow over the last couple of years, as well as all these Middletown players.
Strong move in the paint. Left-hander reverse layup up and in. What a shot by Wyatt.
Some English with that hand, too. The hang time, that is a pretty bucket from Dominique Wyatt.
Cuts that Middletown lead back to 7 at 48-41. Height looking for the pass.
That's pretty.
That's a good feed from Cunningham down to McGee.
That's just perfect basketball, and that's what I mean when they don't force it. It just comes naturally to them. They find open, easy looks, and they convert them.
The screen just inside the free throw line. High arcing jump shot will not go down for Wyatt. Middletown running the other way. Down in the right corner. Corner pocket three won't go. McGee with a rebound. And he had the ball. Well, no, he's lost it out of his hands according to the ref.
And now again a 50-41 lead here for Middletown. And it just seemed like we talked about Caravel, a lot of one-on-one guys trying to create buckets. Got to work the ball around, find open looks.
White kicks it baseline to Bone. His shot is short. Middletown with a rebound. And Cunningham got the ball tipped away from behind. Good hands by White. He gets the pass. Left wing three ball. That's a little strong. And the ball is going to go out of bounds to who? The officials discussing this one. Nick?
It looked to me as if it should go to Middletown here. They'll talk about it, but a tough vantage point for us. And yeah, it'll be that way.
Cavalier ball. Now we've got Ahmad coming in the game. His first action tonight. And Rogers will get a breather.
Ahmad, 6'6". Gonna give some height to Middletown, who already has a bunch of it.
Good opportunity at a steal there for Black. Now Cunningham, that time he didn't get nothing but net there.
I thought that was in, Glenn. When that left his hand, I was gonna say, book a three.
Yeah, nice pass baseline. Clements reverse layup, good. Clements with 4 this quarter.
We're seeing some good passing now here from Caravel, finding some guys on the baseline inside, leading to some layups.
16 points in the game for Clements. He's almost matched his total against Sanford from Thursday. Deep in the left corner, three-point shot too strong. Clements got up there for the rebound. We've got a whistle on the baseline.
And we're going to get Black here on a hold.
Okay. According to me, that's his first. It is. I see it on the board. And the team's first in the second half. Cunningham, good spin move on Black, and we've got a whistle and more contact.
Yeah, tough assignment for Black, who is a 3-and-D type player for Caravel. Is a good defender. We're now going to try to stay in front of the senior Amir Cunningham, who's had a hot hand today. Cunningham 6'5". Black has some good size, but not quite Cunningham size.
Yeah, I'd say maybe with 6'3", maybe 6'4", somewhere around there. Oh, good inbounds pass to McGee. Puts the left-handed floater up, and it was a little too strong off the rim. White comes away with it. He's running the floor. Kick-out pass is deflected out of bounds as we've got 4:38 to go in the third. 7-point Middletown lead at the half. Still 7-point lead.
Yeah, back and forth. Nothing really changing that stands out to us here early in the third quarter as we're almost halfway through. Definitely having Wyatt out there has helped the Cavaliers, at least in terms of offense.
Dom Wyatt slowing it down a little bit. White's going to take a three-point shot, high arcing shot, hit the back of the rim, but Black gets the long rebound.
Now White 0 for 4 from 3, and see if he can get to the line. That's where he's at his best.
He made a good move there and then tried to pass off. I thought he was just going to take the shot. Down the other end, good jump step move by McGee.
I've been so impressed with Jaden McGee, just on a year basis.
Spin move by Wyatt in the lane. He can't get that one to go down. That was a good attempt. Now Rogers pushing the pace to McGee in the paint. Right-hander off the glass and good, and it's a double-digit lead.
Caravel going to take a timeout here. Going to want to talk things over, as you mentioned it, just inside the 4-minute mark. And Middletown, again, they can do whatever they want in terms of how they want to score. That time they're playing solid defense. Caravel putting up some tough shots, and then Middletown taking these rebounds and just finding open players in transition and in the half court, having a lot of success in the paint. Jaden McGee, such a big fella. You know how big he is at 6'6", 195. You saw the hop step, able to finish there. They're tipping balls around. They're just able to finish all over the floor. And it's just going to take 32 minutes of great basketball to beat a team like that.
It certainly is. Caravel's got to start on the defensive end of the floor, and they're typically a very good defensive ball club. We'll have to see how they handle this back half of the third quarter. As they're down double digits, they've been there before. They've been down by 11, and they got right back in the game with that 8-2 run. They're going to need to do that here. And I'm sure we're going to have Clemens and Wyatt involved in the comeback.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, Glenn, is Clemens. We saw him when they went down early in that second quarter, kind of almost as if, oh no, Middletown, could go up big here. How's Caravel going to respond? Clemens responded with a string of buckets himself. So they're going to need somebody to get some points on the board and this run if you're Caravel. No more momentum can go to that Cavalier side.
Down on the baseline is Owen Robinson. Good active defense. Middletown denying the screens. Pass underneath. Clemens trying to back down the defender. Fadeaway jumper short. Rogers with a rebound. Outlet to Cunningham. Makes a move and lays it off the glass, and it's a 13-point lead.
And that's it, right? Another forced shot on the other side for Caravel leads to an easy bucket for Middletown. That has been the story of this game so far. Clemens, the double team came over. He turned, faded away from the baseline. A fantastic player that can make that shot, but that's a tough shot to take, and it leads for 2 for the Cavs.
Good pass underneath to Owen Robinson. He changed direction and gets a shot to go. Only 4 points for Owen. First points this half.
And now you got to get stops if you're Caravel, because Middletown, so good offensively.
Well, the ball was tipped away from Rogers, but right to Cunningham, who gets it up and in.
And again, Robinson, who is very good on the interior, just lost track of Cunningham, was wide open standing on the block.
Clements got the ball from Wyatt. He's picked up by Frazier, and now we've got a whistle and a blocking foul against Clyde.
So now you saw Clemens try to go to work there, a little bit out of control, get bailed out by the foul call.
That's the first against Frazier, and the first team foul committed by Middletown here in the second half. Clemens was looking for a cutter towards the basket, gets it to White. His shot doesn't go, but Clemens with a rebound on the putback.
That's what White's got to do. He's got to get to the basket. Struggling from the outside, and yes, he can hit those threes, but put the ball on the floor, draw some fouls, and dish on the dribble drive, and that time Clemens there for the putback.
Yeah, great job by him positioning to get the offensive rebound on the second chance points. Cavaliers still with a double-digit lead. Good spin move in the lane. Left-hander won't go, and the rebound out to the little guy, Dom Wyatt. Takes it coast to coast, feeds underneath to Clemens for the bucket. The play by Wyatt.
And Wyatt, he saw Clemens as soon as he got the rebound. He knew where he was going to go, and a beautiful pass. Another easy 2 for Clemens. So Clemens with 2 straight buckets, but still Middletown a 9-point lead.
Cunningham threw a little contact. I think that's on Robinson. That would be his second.
I think the 5th foul now.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, 5 team fouls.
So just 1 for Middletown here in the third.
Well, I was talking to Coach Tobin in second half of the game Thursday night. Remember, at one point, it was 17 fouls actually in the fourth quarter. 17 fouls against Caravel, only 1 against Sanford. In a blink of an eye, it was even at 7-7. So offensive foul called on Middletown's Henson.
And Glenn, to your point, Caravel's got to put the officials in a position to make those calls. Middletown only with 1 foul. is because Caravel's got to drive, get to the basket, force some contact, and, drive hard and try to get to the free throw line. They haven't been able to do that tonight because when they do, that's when they can win some ball games. We saw it Thursday. They were great at the free throw line. They got there a bunch, and they hit a bunch. Today, a different story.
90 seconds to go in the third quarter. Caravel would like to get this down, this deficit. It's single digits now at 9 points. Clements deep in the left corner. White penetrates. He gets it to Clements. Now back out on top to Wyatt. They'll reset. Crossover dribble, baseline. Tough angle shot, and he gets it to go.
That was a heck of a crossover. That's one of Wyatt's best moves. Showing it off there. Gets by the initial defender, Clyde Frazier, and able to finish with the left.
Under a minute to go in the third. 7-point Middletown lead. Strong move to the paint by Henson. Shot won't go. Rebound put back by Edmonds. And will they count that? They do.
They should, yeah, absolutely. And again, offensive rebounds killer. Looked for a second as if Caravel would get a one and done. They do not. An offensive rebound, which is Middletown has been great at all day. They've been battling inside. They've got big bodies that just create second chances. And a big one there as Edmond was able to hit it +1.
Makes a free throw, so it's back to a double-digit Middletown lead. Under 50 to go in the third. Miles White guarded closely by Clyde Frazier. Out to the top of the circle. Strong move in the paint. Left-hander, and that goes. Good shot by the freshman, Webster.
And they're going to need him to get going as well. I mean, Miles White and him going to have to find ways to score alongside White and Clemens as we come down the stretch almost to the fourth.
Two teams battling evenly here so far in the third quarter. Scramble on the floor, finally picked up by Robinson. 14 seconds to go in the third. Wyatt had the ball stripped away. It should be Caravel ball, and it is. Just under 10 to go in this third quarter. Let's see what Coach Tobin dials up.
I will say, Glenn, I mean, it was all Middletown a few moments ago, but Caravel somehow again able to put some baskets in it just to keep them in this one. And a chance with another one here. And that's a tough break. And Caravel, a bucket would have been huge as you wind down the third quarter. Great defense from Middletown to force another turnover. And now a chance for the Cavs to score once more before the quarter closes.
Yeah, good defense by Henson, who has the ball right now. Up near midcourt, guarded by Clements. Dishes it off, and it's stolen. Half-court heave. Hits the top of the backboard. Will not go down for Dom Wyatt. So we played a pretty even third quarter. Middletown led by 7 at the half. They have an 8-point lead going the final 8 minutes of the game. Nick, your impression so far, what we got going?
I mean, it's a good one. It's been a physical back-and-forth game. To me, it just seems as if, though, Middletown has still to this point just hasn't struggled yet. I mean, of course, the Caravel goes in a little run where they put a few buckets together, but Middletown has always been able to answer. They haven't seemed stressed or pressed yet in this game. Can Caravel put enough pressure on them to make them make some mistakes in the fourth? We'll find out.
All right, we're going to step aside for a quick message. We'll be right back for the fourth quarter here on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports. Back here courtside for the final quarter. Sold out crowd here at Middletown High, home of the top-ranked Cavaliers. 15-2 record against the red-hot 9th-ranked Caravel Buccaneers, who have already had 2 big wins this week, upsetting Polytech and Thursday night the Sanford Warriors. Caravel has the ball down by 8. They were outscored by Middletown 17-16 in that third quarter. Dish in the right corner, three-point shot, no good. We haven't seen the Cavaliers make a three in a while. After 8 in the first half.
Another one missed there, but it's been the rebounding for Middletown. They've dominated the glass today.
Yeah, they are getting a plethora of second chance opportunities.
And for already the best team in the state, it's going to be tough as an underdog to come in and beat Middletown anywhere, but you're not going to do it, especially if you can't keep them off the glass.
Rogers taking his time. Now picked up by Miles White. Bounce pass to McGee down at his feet. Tough pass. Wyatt comes out of the pack. Doesn't have the numbers and wisely pulls it back.
And again, Glenn, we talked about it. It feels like a double-digit lead for Middletown. It's just an 8-point ball game here still at home, but it just doesn't feel quite that way.
You're right. Caravel needs a good half-court possession here. Down by 8. Good move to the paint. Shot up and good. A lot of contact, no call as Miles White hits the deck.
And then we have a technical.
I don't think that was on Coach Tobin, but I think it's going to be a bench call. At first I thought he signaled that they called timeout, but no.
Yeah, I thought maybe for the injury as Miles White went down the backcourt, but this was another towards the Caravel bench, and I believe they wanted a foul call on the White's drive on the baseline, didn't get it, complained, and they'll be teed up, I believe, for the second or third time today.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of contact there, but officials let them play there. First free throw is good by Amir Height. He makes a second. He has really good form at the free throw line. This is a very good free throw shooting team. 83% from the line in that blowout win over Howard, 77-48. Then they came back against St. George's and did better. They almost shot 90% from the line.
And Caravel's a good free throw shooting team too, but they haven't earned the trips to the line today, and you can attribute that to Middletown's defense and Middletown's rebounding, which has kept Caravel's second chances. They've been abysmal today, and Caravel's been good at that all year as well.
Yeah. Kick out, Amir Height in the right corner. Can't get the three to go. Rogers fights for the offensive rebound. The floater's good in the lane.
They're outworking Caravel. They've outworked them for a majority of the game, and we're seeing it here in the fourth. Just not a lot of boxing out for the Bucks, and Middletown is reaping the benefits of these offensive rebounds.
Good move down the other end of the floor. That will draw a foul, and Clements will go to the line. 6:20 to go in this one. Cavaliers are with a double-digit lead at 12. And the foul is going to go on. I'm waiting to see. I guess that's on Cunningham. Yep, Amir Cunningham that's been posted. His second, only the team's third.
And that one in and out for Clemens, and especially now you can't be missing the free throws, so Caravel finally gets to the line and can't knock down the first.
That's his first miss from the line in the game. Second attempt on the way, and that rimmed out as well. Just a little off.
Yeah, both in and out.
The Cavaliers with the ball, 12-point lead. Cunningham dribbles into the paint, kicks it out. Rogers almost traveled, scoop shot, and that was altered. Wyatt jumps at the free throw line and cans that one to get it back to 10.
And again, that's a tough play in itself. You're 1-on-3, you don't have numbers. Do you pull it back out like we've seen him do the last few times? That time he had some room, elevates, knocks down the mid-range jumper.
Cunningham, strong move to the rack. And he drew a foul and will go back to the line.
Cunningham's had himself a heck of a game today. As a spot-up shooter, catching some of those dribble drive penetration passes from Height and Rogers, and now this time the ball in his hands, able to make something happen himself by putting it on the floor, and he'll head to the line now, where Middletown has done a good job.
Foul was on the freshman Webster. That's his second. The team's 8th. So Middletown in the bonus for the rest of the ball game. And they have 4 fouls to give before they put Caravel in the bonus. Second, it's good. Back to a 12-point advantage for Middletown. Now let's see how, if at all, the Buccaneers can get back in this game. It's going to be tough, Nick.
And it's going to start with him.
Clements' turnaround jump shot, no good. It was contested by Rogers. And releasing down the floor was Jaden McGee. He went for a slam. It came out, but he drew contact, and he'll go to the line.
That was a good job by the freshman Webster to get down there and contest that. It was close to a clean block. The officials telling him he got a piece of the back of the head or shoulder area of McGee, who is so athletic for that size as well. Can just so casually get off of 2 feet or 1 foot and throw it down. We've seen it in the top 10 plays. In fact, you'll see it on YouTube this week in a top 10 play as he makes the first. But he's a heck of a ball player and able to take some contact. Almost was able to throw it down with the foul, and that would have been a top 10 play in itself.
McGee with good size. They're one of about 3 or 4 on this Cavalier team that they're not really tall, around 6'6", 6'5", but they have such great wingspan.
Makes them both, and that's the thing. And Glenn, as soon as I walked up to you today, and we talked before the game, as soon as I walked in the building, the thing I said to you, the first thing I think when I walked up and I said, wow, Middletown's long.
Yeah.
I said they've got size but also length, and I looked at the 5 starters that they walked out on the floor. And they are just built for this. And right now they've got a 14-point lead over Caravel. And Glenn, to the other side, we saw Clemens, another turnaround fadeaway jumper, a contested tough shot for Caravel. They just haven't been falling. You just need some better looks if you're the Buccaneers if you want to get back into this one.
And you would think against most teams in the state, okay, we can get back in, we're down, but we got to foul and put them on the line. You don't want to do that against Middletown. They're too deadly.
And that's the thing. And we saw Caravel, they went down against Laurel, came back and won.
Yeah.
Polytech, they were able to win. They were losing, I think, a little bit there in that game on Thursday to Sanford. But you're right, there's just, what do you force Middletown into? They can score at all 3 levels. They can hit their free throws. And they don't force anything, which is the thing that really stands out to me in doing this game with them for the first time is you see those Clemens shot, and that happens every now and then from a great player like him, but we just haven't seen that on the other side. All 8 deep. They've got 8 deep that could be starters anywhere else, and they just all make the smart, right basketball play.
And when you talk about Caravel, that's about as deep as they go in the entire game is 8 players. Here's White trying to break down the defender, Edmond. Now White at the free throw line. On height, good kick out pass. They're being unselfish with the pill. Now a deep 3 by Clemens, and he makes it, and they needed that one.
And that's the thing, right? You don't want to force any of those contested jumpers, but then you see Clemens pull up, hit a deep 3 like that. All he needs is just a little bit of room. He's that good of a player, and we see it there.
First 3 made this half by Caravel. Strong move by Edmond, high off the glass, and he'll go to the line. Again, I think the 3rd time this half Middletown's had the traditional 3-point opportunity.
Yep, another foul on Caravel, another and 1 for Middletown. Edmond is just coming too easily offensively to Middletown here, whether it be in the half court, in transition, off a miss. They're finding easy buckets inside here in the second half as opposed to knocking down those 8 threes in the first half.
Foul goes against Makai Carmen. That's his 4th. And the free throw is good. And we talked about the previous traditional 3-point opportunities for Middletown. That's the first one they converted.
Yeah.
Back to a 14-point advantage with 4:40 to go, losing the handle, and the little guy skies Wyatt to the rack, has his shot rejected. Edmond comes out of the pack. And there's McGee right there for the putback.
All guys can run the floor, and all of them right there. 3 white jerseys were around that miss.
And this is, there's a 3-point shot on the way by White. Went to the deck trying to draw the foul. Outlet pass. Here's McGee. He's going to take it and slam it with a left hand. And it's 76, excuse me.
Hello, Delaware Live Sports top 10 plays of the week for week number 10. And now the crowd on their feet. A heck of a performance. And again, another 4 shot there for Miles White. But at this point, if you're Caravel, they're just trying to find any answers from anywhere. Just shots not falling here today. Wyatt with just 1 3 in the first half. Clemens with 1 or 2. White has yet to hit a 3. So again, 3-point shooting and free throw shooting is how Caravel can win some games, right? They like to run, and we know they're great in transition, but those are the 2 things that they've been really good at. Both have been negated here today against Middletown. They haven't gotten to the line, haven't hit the free throws when they had, and they haven't been able to knock down the outside shots. And on the opposite side, Middletown has done everything well.
They certainly have. Offensive rebounding is one of the reasons why they have such a big cushion here. They're releasing players on the defensive end, getting down the floor for breakaways.
And that was kind of it. We talked about that early on. Off of these 4 shots, they're creating long rebounds. And you said it, Middletown has 2 guys for these outlet passes that are just running wide open down the sidelines. And it's resulting in easy buckets in transition coming off of those forced misses. Transition buckets for Middletown, and then the offensive glass. They've just been crushing the glass today with those second chances.
So Middletown going for their 6th consecutive win after that loss to Salesianum. Caravel's had a good week regardless of the outcome of this game, with upset wins over 3rd-ranked Polytech and 5th-ranked Sanford. So I think they should probably still move up a little bit in the poll.
I'm with you. I agree.
3-point shot on the way by the freshman Webster. That hits the back of the rim. McGee with a rebound. Outlet pass to Cunningham. He gets up. Oh, and he had his shot altered by the freshman Webster. Good hustle by Webster to get back. Pass underneath. That's rejected. Well, Webster with some great D down there on that possession. And then I think he faked his own player out on the pass. Edmond has the ball stripped away by Dom White. Good hands. But he's going to be called for the foul, and then I think he just fouled out because they teed him up.
And again, that was just a running strip. If you want to call that on the floor, I'm with you maybe. It could go either way. I don't know if I agree with the tech or not, but, the foul call, you make that call every now and then. It's a tough one, but usually you let that one go or just say out of bounds, last touched by Caravel. They give him the whistle, and I think they might have called it as a shooting foul initially.
Now, I don't know who they teed up, if they teed up Black or they did Wyatt. If it was Wyatt, he's gone. But I think it might have been Black that said something. On the board, it's Wyatt's 4th foul posted, and at the free throw line, Marcus Edmond.
Unable to hit the first, but these last few possessions, we've seen Middletown try to turn this one into a highlight reel. They're still leaking these guys out.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get these rebounds, and they're all trying to get on Delaware Live Sports top 10 plays next week.
And you can do that when you got an 18-point lead, Nick. Caravel's staying back because they're trying to get an offensive rebound and a second chance op. Oh, it is. The tech is going to go on Wyatt. So he's fouled out of the ball game.
Yeah, but I took that off just a second too late. Missed the conversation between Tobin Wyatt and the official.
So I think Wyatt fouls out with 15 points. He's such a gutty floor general for Coach Mark Tobin. He makes so much happen for them. And I think Dom is still upset to our left here that, he might, and you never know, he might have uttered one of those no-no words at himself for picking up the foul. And the official was trailing him and thought, I heard something. I guess it was directed at me. You get that sometimes.
Yeah,
it could be a little bit of miscommunication between the two, but I guess he said something that didn't agree with the official, and now he's on the bench.
And again, we've had our fair share of texts today. I want to say that's 4 on Caravel.
I think you're right.
So 4 texts on Caravel. Middletown has at least 1. We know that. But again, Middletown just quietly up 21 points now. I know we talked about they were never in any danger really or felt pressed on the game, but also didn't feel like they were up 21, which they are.
We got another whistle and a call underneath. That's going to go on Black. That's his 3rd.
And that is
yeah, team's 11. So Middletown's been in the double bonus here for a while, but the Cavaliers haven't really committed any fouls this half, only 3.
And that's the thing, right? And we're seeing it, and that happens sometimes too. But if you're Caravel, you got to put the officials in a position to make calls your way as well, right? It's not just all, just Middletown's getting the calls. You got to put in a conscious effort, drive, play hard, and put the officials in a position to give you the calls as well. Just Middletown has just done a better job of that today.
In this 5, and it looks like 6-game winning streak for Middletown, this is the way they played in the second half against Howard, against St. George's, and now against Caravel. Owen Robinson with a strong move, inside-outside game. Webster hit from behind, and that's going to be a foul, I think, on McGee.
Yeah, that's the right call in that scenario. Webster hit from behind. McGee just trying to get out there, get a hand on that ball, but instead got some contact from behind on Webster.
So with 3:14 to go, Nick, only 14 fouls committed by Middletown. So they'll throw it in. Caravel will cross court from us. Black takes the turnaround jump shot, and it hits the top of the backboard. It goes in, but it hit the top of the backboard, so that won't count.
And then that would have been the first three in a long time
It
for
would.
Caravel, right? That'll be an official time. Some subs here
Yeah.
for Middletown. And again, senior day
Yeah.
for the Cavaliers. 17 cheerleaders at halftime being honored here. So a big day for Middletown. Senior day is supposed to be Thursday, but the game with Glasgow, didn't happen. And now.
Oh, good move. I can't believe that didn't go down for Amir Height. He's one of those seniors. Played his ball the last few years at Dover High for Coach Stephen Wilson. 10 seniors on the varsity roster for Middletown playing their final home game on this floor. Height, Henson, Edmond, Rogers. Good try by Webster to just throw it up there and try to draw contact. Now down the floor, Rogers deep in the left corner. First one he's made since the first half.
Yep, ever since the to the Caravel bench and the technical on him, he's been back in the game, but his first triple.
Deep three for Caravel. White, that doesn't go. Second chance. Webster drives in. Scoop shot off the glass and good. I'll tell you what, that freshman has got a bright future ahead of him.
Yep, keep an eye on Webster here as we go forward for Caravel.
Middletown has this one in hand, 84-60. Three-point shot, up and good by Height.
And they're really starting to pour it on now. And
yep.
a whistle. This one might go against Rogers there in the backcourt, but they are starting to find that stroke. As looks like the senior's going to get a curtain call.
Yep. Height, the senior, comes out. Clyde Frazier comes in for him to run the point. Rogers comes out after hitting that three. Another senior. I'm sure we're going to see McGee come out soon.
Yep.
He's another senior. He's still out on the floor. Henson's a senior. He's on the floor. Black with the ball. 2 minutes to go in this one. Dominating performance today, especially second half by Middletown.
Now some more subs, but you're absolutely right. I mean, when you kind of look at it as the game as a whole today, you can't really pinpoint anything that Middletown didn't do well.
Yeah. McGee and Cunningham, the seniors, check out. So on the floor right now, it's Frazier, Henson, Ahmad, and also down there, just coming in the game, Jack Murdahl, Elijah Royster. And Caravel basketball, I can't. Throwing his hands up in the air is Henson. I guess he thought he tossed it off of a buck.
And again, for Caravel, you still saw Wyatt with 15. He battled foul trouble earlier. Clemens got it going for a short stretch of time. But Miles White, didn't get a lot out of White today, the junior. And again, a member of that big three for Caravel offensively. They need him to score if they're going to be able to take down teams like Middletown. Just didn't go their way today, but Middletown is as advertised, let me tell you.
Yes.
And again, the free throws, Glenn, too.
Yeah, they are. Deadly from the line. I still scratch my head at that Salesianum game because there are so many good offensive players on this team for everybody to have a cold night at the same time.
And again, I would have to go back and watch what made, Sally's make Middletown feel uncomfortable because as a coach, what – now we have an official time. As a coach, what are your areas to attack on Middletown? What is your game plan coming in? Because like we talked about earlier, they can run if they want to. They're great in transition, but they can take you in the half court and do what they want there as well. And just with that size, athleticism, and length, that makes them, so good defensively and on the glass. It's just going to take a special performance to beat them. And obviously, Sally's had one like that earlier in the season. We'll see if somebody can do it again, though. Credit
to Sal's with the defensive performance in that game. Middletown, 27-point lead. They've hit 10 three-pointers. That one rims out from Murdahl. Rebound to Webster. Bring it up the floor with 74 seconds to go in this one. Step back three for Webster. He got it.
He's a talent.
I believe that puts him in double figures for the game. Just 60 seconds to go in this one. And Middletown will head to Cape Henlopen Tuesday to try to extend their record to 17-2. Again, second chance opportunities for the Cavalier subs in the game. And they're going to call a foul, and going to the line will be Jacob Keppel.
And then Glenn, you start thinking about some of the top teams, where you got Middletown at 1, and then you got Seaford at that 2 spot. A game, how does Seaford match up against Middletown? You look at it that way. Seaford's got a lot of length as well, some athletic guys in that starting 5. So that's a matchup we could see, down the wire. Trying to think of some other teams that would match up against Middletown or maybe have the benefit of the doubt. There just aren't many.
Polytech, maybe. I still think Dover's a dangerous team with Harrell. And they've got some other pieces down there. Of course, this Caravel team just had an off game. And there's Webster with another 3.
Freshman starting to catch fire here.
Yeah, they've hit 3 threes here in the 4th quarter after not being able to make 1 in the 3rd.
Yeah, if they can get him going and be that 4th guy or step up and be the 3rd scorer for them going forward, that would really help out the Bucks in the postseason.
Rebound underneath, second chance points for Elijah Royster. And Middletown has hit the 90-point
I was
mark.
going to say, they're almost clocking the century mark here, Glenn.
Well, they put up 90 on Seaford early in the season. And that was down in Seaford. 11 seconds to go. This one has not been in doubt for most of this 4th quarter. And a PA announcer now making an announcement to the crowd here about where they want them to exit after this game. Final seconds. Whistle inside as number 11, Michael Sheehan, was fouled.
I think Ahmad thought he got whistled and he gave a little, and then he realized he got the tie-up, and then they'll take over.
Yep, so it ends up being a tie-up. Possession of Middletown, doesn't need to take a shot. I watched young Sheehan here playing the JV game. He's got some game.
Oh, how about that? It's a double day for him, a double duty for Sheehan today.
Final score, 91-66. Nick and I will be back to wrap this one up on the post-game show right after these messages on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports.
That matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state.
Back here live at courtside at Middletown High School on Senior Day, and the seniors came through, the whole team came through with a big 91-66 win over the Caravel Buccaneers. Glenn Fraser alongside Nick Alessandrini, joined now by Amir Cunningham. What a heck of a ball game. You didn't score any points in the first quarter. I don't know what happened to you the second quarter. Man, 3 straight from downtown, and Nick was saying, I don't even think he's touched the rim yet. Talk about your performance tonight.
Well, yeah, so, it's Senior Day, a lot of emotions, we just wanted to come out here and compete. We didn't know whether or not our shots were going to be falling or not, but, we just want to come out here and give effort. Like you said, I ain't scoring the first quarter, I was just trying to settle in. But then, I'm going to be honest, I don't know where it came from, but, once I saw, the first one go in, the second one go in, that's when I knew it was going to be a big day.
And obviously, Amir, one of the most talented teams you guys have in the state, up and down, even outside the starters, your bench players coming in, a lot of talent, a lot of hard work, obviously, through the season. What makes you guys mesh so well? What stands out about this team for you guys? Obviously, in our rankings, the top team in the state. Obviously, some high aspirations come playoff time. What is it about this team with you and your teammates that make you guys so good? Well,
our coach preaches all the time, we over me, we all just want to play together, be for each other. And you just see it in our brotherhood. We are excited. Whether me doing well or the man next to me doing well. So that's what we go by. Everybody eats. So especially when we're winning. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Now you guys can play any style of basketball. I see a lot of teams that are mainly half court. I see ones that want to run up and down the floor, but you guys can play both. What's the key as far as you guys being able to play a pace of style that matches up with anybody in the state?
Well, yeah, we got to be versatile, you know. No matter what team we're playing, whether it's Caravel, you know, or Seaford, or whoever, you know, they all play different styles. Especially where our coach, he puts different teams on there. So, you know, when you have different teams, you know, you're going to play different styles to, you know, help us get a win. And that's what the schedule. So, yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks,
Amir Cunningham, thanks for joining us here on the postgame show.
All right.
We'll see you down the road in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome, sir. Next, we're going to turn it over to the head coach, Aziz Ali. This is getting to be a regular thing, man. We come here to do a game, and then you join us at the scores table here. Great effort tonight against a quality team that had 2 big wins earlier this week over Sanford on Thursday, and Tuesday night they beat Polytech. What was your game plan coming in?
Our game plan was we wanted to make them play in the half court. We knew if the game got up and down and they played at that pace, we was in trouble with number 3 and number 2, really, really good players and thrive in transition. So we wanted to make them play in the half court and sit down and be able to guard.
And obviously, Coach, a big one here. Senior night, sold-out crowd. Energy was high. Just what did you think of your guys' performance? Obviously, everything looked good from a scoring standpoint. Is there anything as a coach? Obviously, you like to nitpick some certain things. I couldn't come up with anything over here at the scores table. What a performance, you know, up and down that roster. Everybody knows their role so well and fulfills it so well. What stood out to you in today's win against Caravel?
I just thought, like you said, everybody just kind of just feels their role and kind of get in where they fit in to start the game off. Rogers had it going. Then we hit a spot where Cunningham had it going. Then we hit a spot where McGee had it going. And the greatest thing I like is guys are excited for those guys when they got it going. And it's not like, well, I haven't shot it in 5 possessions. Let me throw it up. And if we just continue to play like that, you know, we got a good chance.
Coach, we talked to Amir Cunningham about your team being able to adapt to anybody's style of play. A lot of teams in the state, they're mainly half court. Some like to get up and down the floor and run, but you guys can do both. So talk about the versatility of your team.
I think it's our guys. Really, I mean, some people like to put positions on guys, but we're positionless. We talk about whoever gets the rebound, bring it, and I think that puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Just you don't know who's going to bring it up. It's not one person coming back to the ball. And I think our schedule kind of helped us with. We've played so many different styles where we play a team that trap. Then we came back, we played a team that zone. We played Caravel to play a matchup. So we've seen it all year long, and I think that's kind of helped us going through these stretch.
Again, Amir said the exact same thing, and that's how you know you guys are on the same page. So great to see. Obviously, you guys have been hovering around, you know, different rankings around the top all season long. Postseason kind of coming up here just around the corner. What is the one thing in your mind? Obviously everything is clicking for you right now. What are you going to need to see out of your team, you know, here down the stretch into the postseason for you guys to be holding that trophy?
We gotta eliminate those laws. I think it was second quarter, we're up 11 maybe, and we give up 2 threes. We switch defensive. We give up a wide-open 3 to number 1 there, and then we give up a wide-open 3 in rhythm to number 2. And we can't have those laws just because we're up on the scoreboard. We got to be exact. We got to relate everything we're doing, and then we still got to have that same urgency that allowed us to get that lead.
10 3-point shots made by your team tonight, and it was spread around several different players. Now, you still got a tough game left in the regular season against a dangerous Henlopen team down in Lewis coming up on Tuesday night.
Actually, it's Monday, so
I'm sorry.
we only get one day in advance. But yes,
right.
That's another team that likes to get up and down. They shoot a lot of threes. They play different defenses. So, you know, one thing we got to do is just go down there and just be us. We don't have to do anything. Go down there, be us, execute, and we talk about finishing off right. We got to finish this regular season off right and then get ready to go into the postseason.
All right, Coach, great job. Congratulations. Your team now 16-2. One more regular season game, and then next Saturday, the conference title up at St. Mark's against the Howard team.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's head coach Aziz Ali
Thank you, sir.
of the
Appreciate it.
victorious Middletown Cavaliers here on Senior Day.
I'll tell you what, Glenn, a heck of a performance. You know, like I said, I was talked about me and you before the game. I was excited to see Middletown. I've seen the highlights. I've watched some of the games, you know, that you've done and streamed for us throughout the regular season. But seeing them up close and seeing the basketball IQ, the size, the length, the athleticism, the, you know, the way that they play for each other, there's just no selfishness on that Middletown Cavalier squad, and it shows. They looked good today. They are going to be a tough out for anybody come the postseason, and you heard Coach talk about it. They have high aspirations. They want to be holding that trophy up, and they're on the right track.
Yeah, sure are. Just real quick, some unofficial stats. Leading the way for Middletown, Jaden McGee with 20, Amir Cunningham with 19, Jaden Rogers with 18. Tough to beat dominant balance like that. Leading the way was John Clements for the Buccaneers with 23, and after fouling out, Dom Wyatt with a real tough 15 points in this one. That'll wrap it up. Before we go, I want you to do that thing that you do for our game of the week.
That's right, Glenn, and we've got a good one. Another reminder for everybody at home. This was your First Aid Orthopaedics official game of the week. They have 29 physicians at 16 locations, which provide both surgical and non-surgical treatment for a variety of orthopedic conditions, and they are specially trained in the state-of-the-art techniques. They serve as team physicians for over 20 high schools, Wilmington University, many local rec and competitive leagues. You see them everywhere. You've heard the slogan from Delaware to the beach to the bridge and beyond. They are everywhere. Make sure you contact them today, 302-322-3400, or visit firststateortho.com, and make sure you heard me and Glenn talk about our First Orthopedics game of the week. They do fantastic work at First State Ortho.
Okay, thanks a lot, Nick. And also our thanks to Colleen Kelly, athletic director here at Middletown High, for all her help getting our game on the live stream, and to both coaches and their staffs, Mark Tobin from Caravel and Aziz Ali from the Middletown Cavaliers. For Nick Alessandrini and Nick Halliday, I'm Glenn Frazier. Once again, thanks for viewing the live stream here on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports. Once again, the final score this afternoon, Middletown 91 and Caravel 66. Make it a great weekend.